I want to share my experience with ayahuasca with you. I recently came back from Peru and we were there for a retreat. It was incredible. So much to talk about, but I really wanted to do a video and talk about my experience with ayahuasca. It was my first time. I researched a lot, and if any of you are watching this and you have done an ayahuasca ceremony and you've had a similar experience, please let me know because I feel like I can't be the only one who has experienced this or something similar. So I have researched quite a bit before going to Peru and I'm going through the ceremony, and my understanding with ayahuasca, especially what happens is often it's deep healing. We are shown what it is that needs to be released, addressed, cleared, that sort of thing. It has been profound in healing for people with PTSD and trauma. And I mean, everybody has stuff. I went to Peru feeling like I have cleared and healed a lot the past 5 years. Those of you that know me well, that'll make sense. And so I wasn't really sure what I was going to be healing, bringing up, releasing, but I just wanted to go into it very open, to surrender to this medicine and to see what happened. And my mind was blown. So we did 2 ceremonies. The first one was an evening ceremony in the energy of the moon, the feminine. It was around 5:30, so it was just starting to get dark. And then our second ceremony was the next day, about mid-afternoon. So different energy of the sun, the masculine, and they were 2 very different experiences, similar but different for me. The group that I was with also found they were quite different. And in speaking with other group members, from what was shared, a lot of them did experience, being shown things that were unresolved, things with family or past experiences that needed healing. And when we go into these kind of plant medicine ceremonies, even just with energy work in general, there are different ways the body can release. Obviously, crying is one way, yawning, vomiting is another way. So there's different ways the body can release, and it is quite common, from what I understand, for people to get physically sick, to vomit. So we took the medicine. We were with a shaman who has done this for a lot of years. I work with the family. I've been training into them for 3 years. So I felt very confident with our shaman and the sitters, and I felt very safe. And we took the medicine, and I took about 45 minutes to really feel the effects, the psychedelic effects of it. And so we sat there. I think everybody had their eyes closed. I had mine closed, and it was silent for quite some time. Eventually, the shaman, the sitters did some drumming, some singing. But just before I really went into the psychedelic experience of it, I was really drawn to my hands, and I felt like something was going to be happening with my hands. And so I just sat and allowed the medicine to come in, and it went in with the intention of just really surrendering and trusting that Mama Ayahuasca would reveal to me what I needed to know, what I needed to see, what needed to happen. And then my left hand did actually start moving and doing these things. And I started to see, started with nature, seeing grass and plants, almost seeing it though from like a bug's perspective, maybe, like really seeing it very, very large, moving into mushrooms and other plants. And my fingers were just doing these weird things. And then it started to move into different, I'm going to say, scenes. And then my right hand started to come in and do the same thing. My fingers and my hand was just going on its own. And what I eventually started to realize was that it was like my consciousness and the consciousness of Mama Ayahuasca had merged, became one. And it went from the plants to all of a sudden, a forest and trees. And my hands were just doing these things. And then it would go into the water. And what I started to realize is that Mama Ayahuasca was working through my hands. And the right hand seemed to be all about cleansing and clearing and programming. And the left hand was all connected to communication or healing. And so what was happening is all these different objects or nature, part of the earth, would show up, and she would cleanse, clear, heal, program. And when it was done, the next thing would come in. And not only was it the planet, it was animals. All of a sudden there'd be this scene in nature and an animal would come up, and I would just have this knowing that this animal was showing up because it needed some healing. And she would just start with my hand, and it was going so fast, my fingers and hands moving. And then again with the left. And then when it was done, it would just disappear, and then the next thing would pop up. And what I realized, what she was doing is she was cleansing and clearing and healing and programming and reprogramming everything from plants to animals, not only just Earth, but different dimensions, different even planets and galaxies. There was one, I don't even know if it was a planet. It was, I'll say, a community. I was sensing this community of, I'll just say, beings. I don't know if it was human, what it was, but this community or a planet had felt very isolated and disconnected and lonely. And it was like she brought it in and just nurtured it and loved it and healed and made it become a part of everything else. It was like she was like weaving, creating unity with everything, really trying to connect everything and to heal. And it just kept going and going and going. I saw other planets. She would also even create new plants, new trees. And then again, an animal or a species. There was some species, animal type thing that I never recognized before. It seemed like something from another planet or dimension. And she would heal and cleanse and do whatever she needed to do. And then it was on to the next thing. Mountains, rivers. She took on cancer. I was seeing it as this big kind of brown blob, and she was just breaking it down and trying to dissolve it. And at times she would get so concentrated, I could feel myself concentrating, and my hand would just be going faster and faster and faster. And I could feel her personality. And she is so powerful and so confident. And it felt like she never had any sadness or anger, but she had compassion. The ability to be in a place of acceptance where when she realized that, okay, this is all I can do with cancer right now, just accepting that that's all I can do and moving on. I watched addiction come in, and it was interesting. Some things would come on specific sides, not always right in front of me. Addiction came on very much to the right side. And it was just like this thick mass. And she was going in so determined to break down as much as she could. And it was like peeling away a layer and bringing in healing, and peeling away a layer and bringing in healing. And again, she worked at it for a bit, and then got to this point where she knew that was all she could do today. And then it was on to the next thing. And she just kept going and going. I watched her rewire a brain. She brought healing into some of my family members, showed up, and some of my friends who I know have been struggling, and did some clearing and some healing for them. and then just moved on. It was so beautiful and so detailed in what I was seeing. There was so much, I honestly can't even remember all the different species or people or animals that she did help. It was like she just wanted to do so much. At one point, there was this tiger that showed up and wanted healing, and she started to work on it. And then there was this awareness that it was this tiger's time to die. There was nothing that could be done. So then what she did was she helped it to move through the death process gently with compassion. And then when that was done, just on to the next thing. It was just, it was so fascinating. And the whole time as I'm watching her do all these different cleansing healings in my mind, I'm also thinking, I got to remember this. I got to remember this. I want to write this down. This is just so profound. There was nothing really about my life that came up. I did see some of my parents struggle. My dad is not doing well. He's in the hospital. He is full of cancer. And I had a feeling he was not well. And she showed me just basically easing the pain. There's no healing that can happen. And I'm in a place of acceptance with that as well. It was just so profound. She just did so much. I yawned a lot, huge yawns. I was never sick. I didn't feel nauseous, but the yawning was constant. And it was like she was working through my body. So through my hands to do whatever she was doing. And then the yawning was this releasing. And it was beautiful. It was nothing like I ever experienced. So much respect, admiration, appreciation for her. And I honestly can't quite remember how it ended. I think she just kept going and doing and healing and clearing everything she could until the medicine wore off. And I felt tired. My arms were so sore. I mean, it was about 3 hours where my hands were just a-going. And sometimes they were up here and over here, but my hands were constantly going. So my forearms were quite sore by the end, but I just was blown away. I thought, how amazing that I could work with Mama Ayahuasca in healing capacity. And those of you that know me well know that I do a lot of energy healing. I work a lot with different spirit energies. So it wasn't completely foreign to me, but it was not anything like I ever expected. When we got back to where we were staying, of course, I got out my journal and I just started to write down everything I can remember. And I know there's things that I don't remember. I mean, I just saw so many different, she did stuff with the fairies, she did stuff with dragons, so many different realms and dimensions and galaxies and planets and people. It was incredible. And it was just an amazing experience. So day 2. Again, I'm trying to go into it open without expectations, but I'm also sort of putting out the intention that I would love to work with Mama Ayahuasca again and to be able to do whatever she's doing with my hands and to bring healing to all these people, places, animals that need it. And we know there is such a need for healing on this planet and even beyond. So we take the medicine and it kicks in faster today, partially because we have it in our system from the day before, but also we were in a different energy. We're in the energy of the sun. And so we're all lined up and just waiting for the medicine to kick in. And I'm wondering if my hands are going to start again, but I'm also trying to surrender and just, say that I'm open to whatever needs to happen today. And it doesn't take long, and my hands start going again. This time I'm not really seeing what she's doing, but I know she is clearing, healing. My hands are going, and I figure I don't need to see. She can just use my body. I surrender to you, Mama Ayahuasca. And it doesn't take long. A few of them on either side of me start to vomit. And she's concentrated. It's like she is on a mission to do as much as possible. So my hands are going and my arms are so sore from the day before already. But she's going, and it doesn't take long. I don't know, together, we decide to move to another part of the yard we're in, sort of away from everybody. It was like she wanted to be concentrating. And like I said, it's like she was on a mission to do as much as possible. And again, she wasn't showing me what she was doing, but I was okay with that. I just thought, okay, I'm going to let her work through me. And it didn't take long for me to realize what was happening. And how I describe it is day one was like the interview, the job interview. And day two was training day, the initiation. And so she was testing me. So my hands are going even faster than the day before. I can't see what she's doing, but I know she's doing something. And then the hands would drop as soon as that was done, but then the next thing would come and she would start again. And not only are my arms sore, it is 29 above outside, we're in the shade, but it's hot and I'm moving so fast that I'm sweating. I am getting exhausted very quickly. Where we moved to, I still think she had part of the decision in this, ended up sitting sort of where there was a lot of ants and bugs. So I'm constantly swatting things off of me while my hands are still going. Still not seeing what she's doing, but I know she is just going from person to object to planet or wherever, just on a mission. And I'm starting to get tired. And I'm starting to feel a little bit nauseous too, and partially maybe because of the smoke that was coming from the ceremony. And yawning even more than the day before, but it was like I couldn't keep up. And I could see it was almost like she was pulling me up this mountain, and I'm just getting weaker and weaker and more tired and wanting to give up, wanting to get off this ride. I said to her, I'm exhausted. I need a break. I can't do this anymore. And then she started to mess with me. First, in a nice way, she was very encouraging positively. And she said, you can do it. Like, you're almost there. Just keep going. So I thought, okay. And my arms, hands would be going again. And, she'd finish something. My arms would go down. And I think, okay, we're done. No. And she'd start again. And it'd go for about, I don't know, it felt like 3 to 5 minutes. She'd finish something. Hands would come down. At this point, I'm starting to grab water because I am exhausted. I am probably starting to dehydrate. So I'm pouring water in my hands. I'm splashing on my face, wetting my arms, taking a drink, and she goes again. And this is where her sense of humor comes in, I guess. It was how I was seeing it. It was like this scene at a Yellowstone where I'm this wild stallion and she is going to break me. And she pushed me and she pushed me. And at one point I said to her, I am begging, I am on my knees, begging for mercy. I cannot do this anymore. I am exhausted. My arms hurt. I'm tired. And she said, you've got more in you. And I kind of chuckled because I kind of have that personality too, where I can push myself. And so again, we did another. Hands went down and I thought, okay, finally I can rest. And she said, no, we're still going. And again, and this went on. And I thought, I kept thinking, I can't do this. And then she showed me just a flash to a time back when I did Spartan races and remember pushing myself. And she said, you've got it in you. And I kind of chuckled again. And I said, okay, a little bit more. And so again, my hands kept going. And I don't remember if it was then or after this, but I got to a point where I couldn't clear fast enough by yawning. She was doing so much work. I did vomit. And then it was like, it was either just before or just after that, it was like, you know, that the horse has been broke, put in the barn to rest. And I thought, thank God, we are done. No. She came back and she said, that was a break. We're going again. We've got more to do. And part of me is just wanting to die. And part of me is like, okay, let's go. And again, my hands and arms just are going so fast. My arms are hurting. Again, I'm just, after everything she's doing, I'm having a quick rinse of water, chug of water, and we are right back into it. And I'm thinking, we got to be close. And she starts to show me and explain to me exactly what this is all about. And she tells me that I am her earth side, that she can work through me, that I've been training for this my whole lifetime. The reason I was born in Unity, Saskatchewan, is because of this, because it's all about uniting everything. And she needed to push me this hard to make sure that I am ready, that this is the time. And I thought, okay, yay, I passed the test. We still had a bit more to do. So again, water, drink, and right back into it again. And still, she's not showing me, but I know she is just healing, cleansing, programming, creating whatever it is that needs to happen wherever, everywhere. And we finally get to a point where she says, okay, you're done. And I thought, thank goodness, because I am literally done, physically done, mentally done. I didn't find it emotional. She showed me she was bringing out the warrior in me. I felt very honored to be able to do this type of work, to have her work with me, through me. It was incredible. But there was still one final test. And this one was interesting. She said to me, you can do this on the spirit side, but it means not being with your family. And I said, absolutely not. I said, no. And then she even brought Tristan and my son, who died in 2019 of overdose, who I work with in spirit. And he said, come on, Mom, come on. And I said, no, I need to stay here. And that's what she wanted me to choose. It was a test to see. And she gave this pause to see if the temptation would even create a little bit of a second thought. And it didn't. I stood firm and I said, I need to stay here and do this work on this side. And after a slight pause, she said, you have passed. You are done. That's what she wanted me to, that was my final test, to make sure I wasn't going to cave to temptation, and that I was going to stand in my ground, that this was my purpose. And then right in that moment, she pulled all the medicine from me. I was back to pretty much a, we'll say, sober state. And I felt exhausted. I felt relieved. I felt grateful, humble, so much gratitude. I had a lot of respect an appreciation for her the day before, but it was a whole new level. And she almost sat me in like a chair of victory, where I could really just, there was this undeniable knowing that I was done. I had completed the test, and I just sat and started to let everything integrate. And she said to me, "You should be proud of yourself." And I started to cry. I'm even getting a little emotional now, because it was just such a powerful moment. And I thought, yeah, it was such a journey. It was such a beautiful, torturous, magical, unbelievable journey. And I had so much gratitude. And then I started to just see dragonflies everywhere, landing on the ground in front of me, looking to the tree here, and there was one there, looking over to another area, just dragonflies, dragonflies. And then the hummingbirds started to come in, who we work with in our shamanic healings, the spirit of the north is hummingbird. And then the eagles came in, spirit of the east. And then she was done. She let me rest. She let me just be in the moment. She did tell me that I needed to do a healing with her the next day for the family that we were with, who was our guides. And so I agreed that I would do that the next day, but I needed the rest. And everybody else in our group was still in their psychedelic journey for about another hour, maybe hour and a bit. But she just pulled the medicine from me and allowed me to integrate. I probably drank 4 or 5 bottles of water, just sipped and constantly filled and sipped and just took it all in. And about an hour and a bit later, the rest sort of ended their journey, and we closed the ceremony, and then I went back and journaled again. And I thought, part of me at one point thought, this is absolutely crazy. People are going to think I'm crazy when I tell them this. And I heard her, you need to tell people this. Basically, what she showed me was that I could bring the healing power of ayahuasca to people energetically without them having to take the medicine, which is unbelievable considering that ayahuasca is illegal in Canada, I'm pretty sure the US and a lot of other places. So it just blows my mind still. And I thought, okay, the next morning I woke up and I did a little meditation, and I asked her to show me that this can happen. Show me that you can still work through me without the actual drinking of the medicine. And I just went into meditation and I called her forth. I feel like she's just always there. She also did, I'm just remembering now, the second day, I think it was the second ceremony, she did some adjustments to me with my energy centers that would allow us to stay connected, for her to work through me more deeply. And I still feel her within me. I feel her and see her working in my dreams while I sleep. And in meditation, like I said, I wanted to test how is this going to work. And I called her forth. And it didn't take long, and all of a sudden things started to happen again. And so that day I did do the healing for this family that we were with, Marisol and Roger and their little baby, Rosa Maria. And I just called Mama Ayahuasca in and I asked her, and it didn't take long, and she just started to do, I can't even do it like this, but when I go into meditation, she comes, and it's just so fast. And then I've continued to do that. I sat in meditation this morning. I'm back home now. Again, called her forth, and just let her decide what needs healing, who needs healing, and she has shown me now. This morning I watched her do some healing on a tree. She did some healing with a person, I don't know who. I can't even remember now, but we did about 10 minutes of work. And what I've realized is that this is what is now going to also be brought into the ceremonies that I do for people, the energy work that I do, the cacao ceremonies, which I'm super excited. I'm having one tomorrow night on October 19th at Yoga Life Studios. And I've got a new drum. I've got a rain stick. I've got all my shaman tools that I didn't have before. And I'm excited to start working with the incredible, incredible energy of Mama Ayahuasca through various modalities that I have been doing already. So, yeah, profound experience with ayahuasca. The others that I were with, like I said, had very different experiences, but everybody did say it was quite profound. A lot of people got exactly what they needed. There's still this integration happening. It's still pretty fresh. We're not even, I guess we're about 5 days from the time we finished our ceremony. But I highly, highly recommend, if you get a chance to travel somewhere to do an actual ayahuasca ceremony, she is powerful. She is so powerful. And even though she took me through the ringer, I am so grateful for it. And I feel so good. I feel healthier. I feel more calm, more clear. It's amazing. And I know a lot of the others in our group feel the same way. So I wanted to share that for a couple of reasons. A, so that you know that this is going to be coming in. If you're doing any sessions with me, workshops with me, trainings with me, cacao ceremonies with me, this is going to be a part of it. So you're going to experience this. And the other reason I wanted to share is, again, I want to know if somebody else has done ayahuasca and had a similar experience. Please, I want to know, because I feel like I can't be the only person that she works with or through this way. I feel very honored, very blessed, very grateful, and I am dedicating time every day to her. I feel that need and that desire to do so. And I'm excited to see where she takes me. And I will get close up, intimate and personal with her again next September when I go back for our next retreat. I thought to myself a few days ago, will I do that again when I go back, or will I maybe be in a more supportive role? And I heard her say, next year you will level up. So I don't know, Yellowstone too, who knows? I'm gonna try to not have any expectations, but I will take her medicine again. I believe in her so much. She is so powerful. And I really believe what she is trying to do is to help this planet, all living beings on it, and everything connected to it, realms, other dimensions. She is trying so hard to heal it, unite it, and it's beautiful. So thank you for sticking around and listening to my long story. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have questions about it, or you have something to share, please reach out. Thanks.